हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम्स।
Hare Krishna Prakash Rao Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. We're just going live. We shall
Okay.
be soon in a minute.
Okay.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances and Dandavat Pranam. I welcome you to the early morning short Bhagavatam class organized by ISKCON Radha Govinda Temple, Kulai, Mangaluru. And indeed, I invite you for and on behalf of His Grace Sri Ramanista Das Prabhuji. We shall begin with the prayers. Prayers are very important. Mercy of the Lord only allows us to understand what message He is sending through His writings and speeches. And so we must invoke the mercy of the Lord. Besides that, we need to put that into practice, and that again requires a mercy. So without Lord's mercy, we are nothing. So let's pray together. Keep your mute button on. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanushalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Desh Tarine Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yudpadkamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagara Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagar Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरि प्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम
ओम
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम्।
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये
देवीं
देवीं
स्वतं
सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयम्
प्रणतां स्वकथाः कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः
शृण्वतां स्वकथा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः।
जयन्तस्तो यभद्राणि विदुनोति सुरसताम्
हृदयन्तस्तु ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुकृत्सताम्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नष्टप्रायेषु
अभद्रेषु
अभद्रेषु
नित्यं
नित्यं
भागवत सेवया
भागवत सेवया।
Bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki.
Bhagavati
भगवती
Uttama
उत्तमश्लोके
श्लोके
Bhaktirvavati
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, daily recitation, memorization, understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam removes all inauspicious things from our life and brings Lord Krishna, the Uttama Sloka, who can bestow upon us the Naistiki Bhakti. Good, so far good. It's give me a minute. Sixth canto, prescribed duties for mankind, second chapter. Ajamila is released by Vishnu Dutta, and sloka number 26. Aho me param kastam muda vibhitatmanam yona viplavitam brahmam vushalya jayata manam. Suramya Madhvi Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम। अहो मे परमं कष्टं भूद विजितात्मनः येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म वृषल्यां जायतात्मना। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु।
Thank you. Venkata Narsiya Das Prabhuji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Aho me paramam kashtam abhutam avijitatmanah yena viplavitam brahma vrushalyam jayatatmane. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, you missed my name.
No, I'm just trying to do that.
Okay, okay.
Usha Dayadvita Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी प्रणाम प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अहो मे परमं कष्टम् अभूत अभिजातमानः येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म विरसाल्यं जयात्मनः थैंक यू प्रभुजी हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी
Hare Krishna Mataji. Prakash Rao Prabhuji, I can't find your name.
I was first to raise you. Anyhow, Danvat Pranams Prabhuji.
Pranam, go ahead, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aho me paramam kastam abhuta viditatmanaha yena viplavitam brahma ushalyam jayatatmana. Hare Krishna Prabhu, धन्यवाद. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, you are co-host now.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Pushpa Yashomati Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी प्रणाम प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अहो मे परमं कष्टम् अभूत अविजितात्मनः येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म वृषल्यां जायतात्मना हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी थैंक यू
Thank you. Madhumati Vilasini Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अहो मे परमं कष्टं भूत विजित आत्मनः येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म विशल्याम जायत आत्मनः थैंक यू प्रभु जी हरे कृष्ण
Thank you. Jitra Mohini Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी प्रणाम प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अहो मे परमं कष्टम् अभूदा अविजितात्मनः येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म वृषल्यां जायतात्मना हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी थैंक यू
Pranandandini Madhvi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभुजी प्रणाम प्रभुजी ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय अहो मे परमं कृष्टम्
अभूत अजितात्मनः येन विप्लवितं ब्रह्म वृषल्यं जयतात्मनः. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. Thank you प्रभु जी.
Thank you. Uttama Padma Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mata ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. अहो मे परमं कष्टम् अभूत् अविदितात्मनः येन विप्लावितं ब्रह्म कौशल्यां जायता आत्मना. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी.
Thank you. Revati Ratnangi Devi Dasi ji. Hare Krishna Mata ji.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. प्रणाम प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. अहो मे परमं कष्टम् अभूत् अविजितात्मनः येने विप्लवितं ब्रह्म वृषल्यां जायातात्मना. हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. थैंक यू वेरी मच.
Vijaya Kumari Mata ji. Hare Krishna Mata ji.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी. प्रणव प्रभु जी. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. अहो मे परमं कष्टम् अभुत् अविजितात्मनः येन विप्लाविदं ब्रह्म वैशल्यां जायदात्मना. थैंक यू प्रभु जी.
Thank you, Vijaya Kumari Mata ji. Can you read synonyms for us, Mata ji? Vijaya Kumari Mata ji.
Read Mata. I can't read.
Okay, fine. Aho, alas, me, my.
Shall I do it, Prabhuji?
Sorry? Yeah, go ahead, Mother. Go ahead.
Okay. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Synonyms?
Yeah.
Aho, alas, me, my, paramanam, param, extreme, kashtam,
Your voice is cracking, Mother.
abhut, became, avijata atmanah, because my mind, Brahma, all my Brahmanical qualifications, Vritalyam, through a Shudrani, a maidservant, Jayate, being born, Atmanah, by me. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you,
Hare Krishna.
Sadhu. Thank you very much, Mataji. Translation. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ajamila said, alas, being a servant of my senses, how degraded I became. I fell down from my position as a duly qualified Brahmana and begot children in the womb of prostitute. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The man of the higher classes, the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, do not beget children in the wombs of lower class women. Therefore, the custom in Vedic society is to examine the horoscope of a girl and boy being considered for marriage to see whether their combination is suitable. Vedic astrology reveals whether one has been born in Vipravarna, Kshatriya Varna, Vaishya Varna, or Shudra Varna, according to the three qualities of material nature. These must be examined before a marriage between a boy of the Vipravarna and a girl of Sudravarna This must be examined before a marriage between a boy of a Vipravarna and a girl of Sudravarna is incompatible. Married life would be miserable for both husband and wife. Consequently, a boy should marry a girl of the same category. Of course, this is Guna, a material calculation according to the Vedas. But if the boy and girl are devotees, there need be no such consideration. A devotee is transcendental, and therefore, in a marriage between devotees, the boy and the girl form a very happy combination. Srila Prabhupada is explaining in detail the Varnashrama and telling us about the Vedic setup in a Vedic society. As we saw in translation, Ajamila is realizing his issues, problems, and complications that he has created by doing series of sinful actions. He now repents that he met the prostitute, he married the prostitute, brought her in the house, and then begot children from the womb of the prostitute. There could not be anything higher than this except the ghastly crimes of murders and violence. So Ajamila realizes that he has been, as we call in our Bollywood language, kya se kya ho gaya, from a very well qualified Brahmana performing karmakanda and religious activity, he has fallen down to the lowest possible level a Brahmana could think about. He therefore repents, realizing that he has fallen down from a very good position, and his repent is being transformed by a devotional service and Nam Japa. Srila Prabhupada explains that in Vedic time we had four varnas and four ashramas. There was a Brahmana, one known as Vipra, Kshatriya, Shudra, and Vaishya. Each one of them had their prescribed duties. Brahmanas were supposed to look after the welfare of the people in the form of their education, their spiritual aspects, and gradually elevating them to a level of Vanaprastha and Sannyasram for the eventual liberation from birth and cycles of the birth and death. And that's why Brahmanas were accepted as most liked by God. Lord Krishna loved each and every Brahmanas, and they were given the highest possible duties. Brahmanas were not supposed to work to generate economic uh, economic economic part for the family. They were being donated enough by the people and by the king himself from the administration of the state to survive easily and peacefully. Similarly, the Kshatriyas were supposed to protect each and every living being inside his kingdom, be it human being, animals, or trees. And that's why when the jungles were protected so well and animals were moving freely within the jungles. Vaishya was supposed to be looking after the agriculture and all the commerce in the society and looking after the maintenance maintenance and supply of the agricultural produce all over. Shudras were supposed to work under all three of this, and they were considered to be of an inferior quality. By and large, the Brahmanas, Vaishyas, Kshatriyas, and Sudras were as per their duty, as per their likings for the work, and not by birth. This is very important. When you go by birth, doesn't mean that the king will have a son who would certainly be like a king. There are good chances that he may be, but when he is not, by birth, Varna ashram doesn't work. It only works by the choice of work that one decides to do or has an aptitude for it to do it. And this part was not understood by colonizers of India. And they messed up what we now have, a Jativad. So all the ashramas were decided, all the varnas were decided by the aptitude of a person. He may be born in a Chandala family, but if he has an aptitude for Vedas, learns Vedas, understands Vedas, practices Vedas, then he certainly can become a spiritual master and can become a Brahmana, qualified Brahmana. So everybody had an open avenue for higher or lower Varna as per his aptitude, intelligence, etc. The Brahmanas were in most of the time in the mode of goodness, and they were doing their austerity, penance, and other things to continue into a further progress to the spiritual path. Kshatriyas and Vaishyas were mainly in the mode of passion, and thus they were grossly involved in lots of activities and running around, either to run the country or to run the business. And Shudras, as usual, were in the mode of ignorance, doing work donkey's ways. Similarly, we had ashramas, and you know all about it. Srila Prabhupada explains that there are certain compatibilities and incompatibilities in the marriage system by Vedic approach. The preferable parties marrying of the boy to a girl of the same varna or of the same gotra, as they call it. The marriage between Brahmana boy and Kshatriya girl is considered to be fine, but the reverse is not true. The boy is Kshatriya, then he is prevented from marrying the Brahmana girl and is considered to be an awkward and incompatible position, which has come earlier in the third canto. This is one of the reasons why the horoscopic matching was done. And in this process of matching, horoscopically, each one is given the percentage, and their percentages are matched. As I believe it goes up to something like 36, it's popularly known as Dokada. And the matching is done to see that their life is along a well-tuned life, and both of them, both the woman and the man, benefit from each other's association with cooperation. When they were not matching horoscopically, they were not allowed to marry. So this was one of the most important systems. Of course, the systems are even accepted in the Western world. The world in the West has their matching programs for various jobs, and a very popular matching for the interns and residents on the medical field is known to all of us. Srila Prabhupada explains in great detail about the Varna here. He doesn't touch the ashramas at all. The Ajamila is now repenting about his falling down, and he has woken up from a slumber wherein he degraded himself to the situation as we described earlier. Purport is short, and there is nothing further to describe. The carry home message is that each one of us have our own varnas. We need to get matching done by the horoscope to realize our competence with a partner. Srila Prabhupada explains in detail at the bottom that such things are not needed for devotees. All devotees transcend these varnas and other things, and that's why when they themselves feel matching is good enough a match, and they do not need any horoscopic matching program. Any question, any queries, any doubts, any commentaries? If there are none, we go to just repeat the Shravanam part of it, which I understood yesterday, that you were keen to know it again. I have already posted the slides earlier, but we'll just go through it so that it gets burst up. Shall we go through the Shravanam slides? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Thank you. Shravanam is very important, and somehow we do neglect it, thinking that we all know what is Shravanam and we do it very well. What we know in a material world is a Shravanam as a kind of one of the Kriya that we do, and thus we do not involve many things that otherwise should be included in Shravanam. Participation of the mind, the intelligence, analysis, and understanding to retain it is very important in the process of Shravanam. And in the material world, usually we leave it to the level of reflexes, where as if you are driving a car, you drive without really your mind and intelligence understanding that you are now using the accelerator, or you're honking, or you are putting a brake. So rather than having Shravanam at the level of reflexes, it should be at much higher level. So let us understand where it should be. Bhagavad Mahatmya describes Shravanam in its 5th volume, 72 to 77. been given here. And also in Padma Purana, Shravanam is also described well by Srila Prabhupada in Srimad Bhagavatam 2.2.36. Proper Shravanam is very important. If we look at the purport of 2.2.36, you all know about the Dukari. The ghost listened for 7 days, but each night he worshipped the Lord, during which time he reflected with concentration on what he had heard. This is very important. Whatever you are listening to, it must be analyzed, kept in mind, try and understand it well, what we call mananam. So Shravanam must be followed by mananam. And then lastly comes remembering it, retaining whatever you have actually heard. Knowledge which is unstable is a knowledge which is lost. Similar to what we learn, if we do not retain it, then it all goes off. It further says that japa without concentration also has the same category. It's rather an offense rather than anything positive. So unless the hearing is done well and retained, that hearing is waste. Similarly, the knowledge and similarly all the work that we do, it should be an active participation of the ears and linked with the mind and intelligence, ultimately going to the memory lane to retain it well. They compare it with a land without Vaishnava, that land is worthless, or offering oblations by a person who is not Vaishnava or who is not really a learned, qualified person. So in order to obtain the fruits of the hearing, Bhagavatam, we need certain characteristics. And there are such 4 important characteristics. Number 1, there should be a faith. One should have faith in words of the spiritual master. So when you are hearing something, unless you have a faith, your Shravanam would be of quality too. Must have humility. Attitude of humility is very important. Third thing, the flow of mind. And lastly, apt concentration or unswerving concentration. Srila Prabhupada loves the word apt and rapt. So these four qualities are needed for a worthwhile Shravanam or Shravanam that is going to be fruitful to us. Unless Shravanam is fruitful, that process becomes useless. Now, how to participate in Shravanam? Perfectly and scrutinizingly, you must hear each and every word. This is very important. This is not something just theoretical. Each and every word that we hear, We must understand, and when we do not understand, ask questions. At times, the questions are not there, and as Premakishwari Mataji says, questions reflects the validation of whatever has been going on or taught. People have tendency, or rather we all have tendency, that pick up as much Shravanam as we can, but when we don't understand, fine, we'll go home and read it and understand it well. That is a wrong process. You must understand it while you are being taught, while you are listening. When one links his ears to give oral reception to the transcendental vibrations, he can quickly become purified and cleansed in the heart. This is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Lord NOD, Nectar of Devotion. Needs right settings and environment. This is very important. When we are talking about settings and environment, remember there are two kinds of settings and two kinds of environment, external and internal. And so the internal setting here is very, very important. The internal setting is popularly known as sanskara. And unless we have good sanskara, proper sanskara, hearing would never be deep enough for us to retain it. How to create deep sanskaras? This is very important. By participating in the process of Shravana, not just hearing kriya or hearing activity. Hearing could be as just one of the activity, then it becomes a reflex. Unless hearing is done as a process of participation, hearing is useless. Unless you are doing it as an activity or as a kriya, then and then it becomes sanskara, which are deep enough for us to help in future hearings. Shraddha or faith is needed in three areas. Number one, Vakta, the one who is speaking. Shravanam, Vidhi itself, the process of Shravanam. And third, Srimad Bhagavatam, the part that we are hearing, or the book that we are hearing. Also, faith and devotion and appreciation of all types of Leelas, like Srishti Leela, Avtaras, and other Krishna Leelas, like even the war, Kurukshetra Leela. We must have enough faith in all these, and it must be with devotion and appreciation. Then and then the process of Shravana will be completed. Varna, this is very important. Varna, this is the accept with the trust from the bona fide spiritual master or bona fide Vakta, or inquire submissively and then accept it. S is Shraddha, V is Varana, not Varana, and third N is Namrata, pridelessness, humility, neglecting mind's commentary while focusing on the hearing every word of Vakta. So you need Shravana, S-V, and all three together to understand what is going on. And so The ultimate reception should be a true oral reception. Oral is A-U-R-A-L, not oral. You need faith, you need taste, you need mercy, you need interest and inspiration. All these things are necessary. Otherwise, your Shravana becomes a part of information. We must not have information, but we must have ears as the eyes. And that's why they are known as Sastra Chakshu. Shastras are known by the ears. The importance of the process of Shravana has been described by Srila Prabhupada in the purport of 1.8.36 and also in the purport of 2.2.36-37. And Srila Prabhupada describes it. When the hearing process is perfect and complete, the other processes automatically becomes perfect in their own way. There are different transcendental activities of the Lord, and each and every one of them is competent to bestow the desired results provided the hearing process is perfect. I still remember Namanishta Das Prabhuji saying that when you are doing Aarti in the morning at Guru Vandana, if you are really doing it with the mind and intelligence bound together, understanding the message and understanding each word that you speak, the eyes should overflow with emotions and tears. That is true Shravana. Shravanam sets devotional disposition and vision with right inspiration and perception. You can easily remember these by disposition value or deed of VIP. Disposition, vision, inspiration, and perception. So Shravanam is not really a very simple thing. We got to develop it as an activity or as a kriya, and then we should listen. I think we need to do this very clearly as learning something with a workshop. You know about the Vigraha to Galagraha. You bring the Vigraha home and then you can't do all the processes that it needs to be done. Vigraha becomes ultimately Galagraha, as if the Vigraha is being hanging on your neck and then becomes a Nigraha, means it is removed from where it is. Upon participating in Shravanam heartily and properly, we will be able to further our facilities to get the fruits. All other aims are polluted aims, and polluted aims doesn't take you anywhere. So one must be fixed in furthering the feelings by Shravana. This is very important. Unless you connect the ears with mind, intelligence, and heart, Shravanam is incomplete. When you have connected it with mind, intelligence, and heart, it comes as a bhava, and that produces ultimately a prem or a prema, which gets recorded in the brain as memory. Unless Shravanam produces this kind of activity, that Shravanam is not useful. I hope I made some sense. The slides are already in the group, so you can look at it again and find the best meanings of the text and understand Shravanam and develop it as a process. And this process must be initiated every time that you sit down to listen to Srimad Bhagavatam. Any queries, any questions, any doubts? If there are none, Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya
Hare
Evacha.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mother.
Well, thank you so much for a session, beautiful session, Prabhu. But there is one small request, Prabhu. Actually, what happened? I am working right now. मैं अपने घर का मतलब पूरा काम करती रहती हूँ, and during that time I listen to the things. So what happens is, because I'm not using any earphones or some things, so sometimes your voice become very low. It's very low. Yes. So
Was
because
it
other
low today?
It's
low, very low, yes.
very low, Prabhu. It's feeble. So sometimes I could not listen. I'm holding my phone in my hand or I'm using my earphones, which is not possible most of the times.
Okay.
So please help me out with increasing your voice. Or something might be your phone is on very less voice or something like that.
I'll check it out. Was it like this right from the beginning or it was there in the later part?
It is in the beginning also and now also, Prabhu. Actually, you speak very nicely, but sometimes I have to keep my phone very much near to me while doing my household chores.
Okay. I'll remember that now and check
Yes,
it.
yes, I'm also facing same problem, Prabhuji.
Okay. I'll check it now and time and again keep checking while going through. I listened to the recordings and it looked okay to me, but I'll check it today.
No, Prabhu, yes. आपका मतलब I just want to listen every word of it. So this is the reason.
Sure, Mataji, I'll do that. If you
Thank
would
you.
have brought earlier in the to my notice, I would have come closer and spoken. Anytime things like that happens, please volunteer and drop in between and give a little bit of help. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patita nama pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Koti Vaishnava Vijay.
Hare Krishna
to
Prabhu.
everyone.
धन्यवाद
Thank
धन्यवाद
you.
Krishna,
Very
Prabhuji,
good.
धन्यवाद.
Good luck
Hare
to
Krishna.
you and have
Hare
a
Krishna.
wonderful Monday.